Quarry Harbour, it was in the pouring rain. None of us quite sure if we would see England again. Some fool muttered death or liberty. And there were 6 of us together, a jolly hungry crew. And as the days went by, you know, our hunger quickly grew. And some fool muttered death or liberty. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs they were rumbling all through the night so dark. Wondering, trying to keep ourselves alive. And when the sun it rose next morning, well, at 6 it turned to 5. And I said, right, this is another one, don't you frown. Shoot the beat and hold it down. It's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town. Well, the 5 of us were nervous, and I tell you that's a fact. But you should have seen the bastard who was carrying the axe. He was a sick man, he had murder in his heart. And then we reached the Franklin River, and it took 2 days to cross. We were wet and almost starving, and for food we're at a loss. We were hungry men with murder on our minds. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs they were rumbling all through the night so dark. And they were making noises the death could not ignore. And when the sun came up next morning, well, at 5 it turned to 4. And I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down. It's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town. Well, the 4 of us kept marching to a place called Western Tears, a country full of tasty game. For us it lent no cheer. We had no guns, we were traveling without hope. But the axe it loomed so ominous, God's hand was at play. For a sick man is a type of game which cannot run away. So stay easy, my good man, your time's at hand. So that night we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs they were rumbling all through the night so dark. I can't say that I feel guilty, 'cause after all it wasn't me. But when the sun came up next morning, when I thought it turned to 3, and I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down. It's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town. Well, the 3 of us kept moving, but one was sinking fast. He'd been bitten by a snake, and you could see he would not last. So stay easy, my poor man, your time's at hand. Then when he could march no longer, his time was there at last. We were far too weak to carry him. Subsistence, it comes first. Stay easy, my good man, your time's at hand. So that night, we made fires out of twigs and out of bark, and our stomachs they were rumbling all through the night so dark. It was a message of, but it was one we had to do. And when the sun came up next day, guess what? The 3 had turned to 2. And I said, right, there's no one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down. It's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart had been looking at me funny, sort of eyeing me for days. And you would not need to be too bright to know that bastard's ways. He was a sick man, he had murder in his heart. But even bastards have to rest, and even bastards have to sleep. And when he was in the land of Nod, straight over I did creep. And the axe that he had wielded now was mine. So that night I made the fire out of twigs and out of bark, and my stomach, it kept rumbling all through the night so dark. I can't say that I enjoyed it, it wasn't exactly fun. But when the sun came up next morning, well, at 2 it turned to 1. And I said, right, there's another one, don't you frown. Chew the meat and hold it down. It's a tale they won't believe. When I get down to Hobart Town, down to Hobart